Hey everybody, it's Lucky. Not out and about. Of course, we're all locked down in our basements and me staring at a brick wall. But instead, today I get a chance to stare at someone else, and you do too. And very happy to be joined by Ben Kowalewicz, frontman for Billy Talent. Ben, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Very happy to have you. Although I guess if all things were right, today you would have been in Ottawa on a gorgeous day. For Blues Fest, but that's not happening.
Oh, is that what that have been today? Oh,
yeah,
man. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the us with Blank, right? That would have been a good show. Yeah. I didn't know that. Now I feel sad.
Great way to start.
More
Great
sad.
Start. How are things?
It's happening
how
next
have
year,
you been
right?
through all of this?
I've been, I think all things considered, I'm doing okay. These are unprecedented times, and they're scary times. And I guess, I shouldn't say like most people, but like myself and the people that I've been talking to, it kind of comes in waves of, being at calm and finding a peace with it and understanding, that this is just a moment in time and it will pass. And, and then I flip into like sheer terror and, anxiety. So it's these fluctuating waves that can be pretty devastating at times, but I think that's the hardest part of this too, right? Is trying to maintain a semblance of positive, a positivity, and being, being mindful and aware of what else is going around you, and to focus on the small things and to take things day by day, and try not to look too far down the road.
Can you remember the last time you've had 2-3 months off and this kind of downtime? What have you been doing with downtime?
Well, I have a new project that has been occupying a lot of my time, if not 99% of my time, is my wife and I had a little girl. So we have been raising her together in isolation, which has been quite a trip. But it's been, for me personally, to be able to be home and spend this time with her. Like you said, I was supposed to be playing shows at this point. We were supposed to be out as of like May till kind of like the rest of the year. So
right.
To be able to be home with her every day has been the most beautiful, amazing silver lining of this thing. So so that's really what I've been doing, is I just care and look after her. And I love her. She's the
congratulations, best. By the way.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's crazy.
Welcome to fatherhood. You missed out on homeschooling.
Yeah, it's a trip. Yeah, well, who knows? Yeah. So anyway, it's been pretty cool.
Well, and that is amazing because if I look at your tour schedule, you guys were supposed to tour internationally, as you said, from for the last couple of weeks, and 3 million albums sold internationally for Billy Talent. It just makes me think, wow, what a crazy trip it would have been to have been in Poland and Holland and all over Europe through all of this too. Yeah,
I mean, kind of going back to what I was saying earlier on, but it's like you tend to really appreciate the small things, and we've been really fortunate, and with a lot of hard work and a lot of luck and dedication, we've been able to tour internationally for, probably close to like, I don't know, 20 years, I'd say, off and on. And, there's so many beautiful places on this planet, and so many amazing venues, and so many wonderful cultures that we've got to see and be part of. And I really miss touring. Like when you're touring, like we're a band that actually likes touring. Some bands hate touring. We love it. It does come sometimes, like when you've been away from home for a long time, or you're sick, or like there's some challenges within that. But I really miss touring and what that feels like and means, and seeing these different places and having the opportunity to go. But so that's been a challenge for sure.
I've often wondered when you're touring internationally, what is that feeling like? You hear bands describe it. You go to cultures and to nations that don't speak your language. You get up on stage and everyone's singing back to you in English. Is it a surreal feeling?
It's the greatest feeling in the world, and it shows just the power and connection of music, of how it's the universal language, as they say. But it's, and when you're like for me, I remember clearly the first time we played in Moscow, which was probably about 10 years ago, and standing on stage and seeing people, you know, sing back to us, you know, and that was a pretty, you know, that opened my eyes to like, wow, we're really lucky, you know, this is a beautiful, it's a beautiful language and a beautiful moment to be able to share with people too, right? Like it's cool that that it doesn't matter where you're from, or you know, your background or your religion or your, you know, music connects all of us in those moments. And that's the thing about live shows, that I think is there's those serendipitous kind of moments, and we try to achieve those moments every night, but there's just something cosmically that happens. And hopefully you've had those where you've gone to some shows and it was like, it feels like you're part of something. Your heart is full, you're arm in arm with people and strangers, and you're singing at the top of your lungs, and the band feels it and the crowd feels it, and then you walk away. And that like almost euphoric kind of sense of that jump in your step, and it carries over into the next day, and hopefully, you know, the next week, and you know, you put your head on the pillow and you think back to it, you know, like that's being able to try to do that every night with people is a very special thing. And if there's definitely a void now that we haven't been able to play, and you know, well, we haven't really played in almost, I don't know, about a year and a half, just because we've been working on new music and working on the record, you know. So it's been it's an interesting dynamic, you know, and I hope that this obviously ends for a million reasons, but that feeling is something that I think you know, maybe we took not take for granted, but it's something that maybe we didn't put as much stock into. You know,
I want to ask you about the new album in a second, but I in the midst of all that's going on, I mean, here we are. Where we normally be speaking face to face, we now have to do things digitally, and it seems like a lot has changed in the world. But you guys have been embracing that with you know, different video content, lyrical videos that you've been doing. You've been trying to capture the moment. Is this the way music is done differently now?
Well, I think for us, it was one of those things where, you know, you have to evolve as people, and you have to grow and adapt. And, you know, for us, we were pretty adamant about not releasing a traditional record. You know, like before, it's like you release a single, and then a couple months later, you release a record. And, you know, we wanted to do something different, completely different. And we were fortunate enough that the people we work with were down with the idea, and so we just decided to kind of release songs as they were done. So we've never done that before, and then we also decided that instead of shooting like a rock and roll video, we were going to create a short film and have our music accompany these different chapters of this film. And so obviously that's been put on pause, much like everything else, but that's been a really amazing, challenging, overwhelmingly, it was a huge undertaking, but that's also been really fun and creative for us. And as much as even pre-pandemic, you know, we were having a lot of fun by trying these different ways of releasing things, and it's been eye-opening, and it's been fun, and it's been challenging, but it's I think people have been really you know, the people that have been paying attention to it have been really enjoying it. So yeah,
Definitely so. I've been enjoying the music we've heard from the new album. Let's talk about that sixth album. Does it have a name yet?
not really. I mean, there's a couple things, but we're close. We're close.
It's you know what?
The thing with Billy Talent is a funny thing about our band. It's like we have not so much at the moment, but we have these meetings, you know, and it's like, okay, we need to figure out the name of the title of the record. So we all sit down and we'll go through it. And at the end we're like, yeah, that sounds cool. Okay, yeah, cool. But then we just start talking about something else, and we never end up resolving. Like there's never. It's like a weird Seinfeld episode that just doesn't really end. So the thing that we ended up getting together about, we ended up just leaving and not really having an answer, and then we just don't. Yeah. So anyway, we don't have the official name yet, but we do have a couple of things that we've at one point all agreed upon.
Don't really need one at this point, but I gotta tell you, in listening to what we've been spinning everything, but let me ask you, lyrically, Reckless Paradise says, "Stuck in a crisis, without a conscience, trapped in a place we don't belong. Beg to differ," which is fantastic. "As time goes on, this will get better." Were you predicting this pandemic as you were writing this up?
I mean, it seems very strange, Ian, guitar player, main songwriter. I remember sitting down and hearing like the music of those songs and just having my jaw dropped. And then when it was coming to the lyrics, we sat down, and with Reckless Paradise, it was all about how we are feeling towards what was happening in different places in the world, and in the States especially. But yeah, we didn't. Yeah, it's kind of overwhelming to think about how it's that song in particular, and also Beg to Differ has taken on such a different, because that song was also written pre-pandemic, and Beg to Differ is about mental illness and people that are suffering, and to reach out to them and to make sure that they're okay, and to know that they're not alone. And yes, and now when I even hear the song, I'm like, wow, it just has become so much more amplified with what's happening around the world right now. So yeah, I wouldn't say we were predicting the future, but it seems like it was they from where they were to where they are, it's taken on a whole different meaning, different way.
And I guess that's just indicative of all music, where it can take on different meanings to different people too. And when you hear it now and think that. Yeah,
and that's the that's the beauty of a song too, right? It's like you could hear it. Like I'll always remember hearing Jane Says coming out of my brother's room when I was just a kid, and that like sticking with me, like changing, like me like literally gravitating, putting my ear to the door. And then, Jane's Addiction's now become my favorite band of all time, So it's like one of those things where songs stay with you. But that song I've heard when I was, however young, and I listen to it now and I still like it, but its relationship to me has changed, and I've changed, that's the beauty of song, I guess.
What can we expect from the more songs to come from this album?
I mean, I hate when bands say this, and it makes me kind of cringe roll my eyes, but I'm going to do it anyway. But I honestly think that this is like the best complete full record that we've done maybe since Billy Talent 2. It is, I cannot wait or express how excited I am to have the world hear these songs. I mean, the songs that we've released already have, we're so proud of. But with those and with these ones attached to it, I think it makes like a really quite a special piece that we're all really excited to share with the world.
When this is all said and done, what's the first thing that you really want to do?
Hug my friends. Yeah. I miss hugging my friends. Yeah, just a nice hug is what I miss the most.
It's pretty crazy how we missed that embrace, or things that we took for granted before all of this, and all of a sudden
that's
now.
It, right? That's it. We, I mean, it's these, like, going back to what I was saying, it's these waves of, you're either looking at it in a positive light and with calm and with a center, or you can kind of get distressed by it, and which is understandably so, But yeah, it has made me revert back to just the simple things. And remembering that you have to hit pause and to slow down in life, and not to just keep chasing your tail and keep, just stop, be present, be where you're at, be in your skin, be with the person or that you're with, and then just to try to appreciate every day, because there's a lot of people who are still sick and who are fighting and are going through this, and we have to keep them in our thoughts, and that this is far from over, right? So we have to keep trying to be the best people that we can be.
I want to get a haircut. I'm starting to get into the Ian DeSaw kind of category of all things here.
Well, my wife made me shave my head at a certain point, so I shaved my head, and I'm quite happy with it. So I would recommend it. It's very liberating.
No doubt. Ben, I want to say thank you, but before I do that, I want to say this is the second Kowalewicz family interview I've done. When I first started off in my career in radio, I was in this little hole at Pearson Airport of a radio station announcing arrival and departure delays. And part of what we had to do on a weekly basis was call the operations tower. And, and I would talk to this guy, Stan, and he would tell me about his son and his band. And they were just getting going back in about 2000.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I love him. He's had some pretty significant health woes over late, but he's still kicking it. And he's all we do when we talk is laugh. So he'll love that story. So I'll make mention of it to him. Yeah.
Please say hello. Please stay safe, and please keep making great music. I want to thank you for this.
Thanks. And thanks for taking the time, dude. I know these are trying times, so we appreciate all the support that we can get. And take care of yourself and your friends and family.